Under the low horizon of the eastern Pacific, a plume of smoke rises above the grey water, silent, distant, and deliberate. It marks another chapter in the United States' expanding campaign against maritime narcotics networks. The footage released by U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shows a precision strike against what Washington describes as a suspected drug trafficking vessel. Moments later, the image freezes, the ship engulfed in flame, 2 crew members reportedly killed. For Hegseth, this isn't just a tactical operation. It's part of a broader message about deterrence, control, and international law. In his post on X, formerly Twitter, he declared intelligence confirmed that the vessel was involved in illicit narcotics smuggling, transiting along a known narco-trafficking route and carrying narcotics. The strike was conducted in international waters in the Eastern Pacific. His statement was both specific and calculated, underscoring legality and purpose while preempting criticism over jurisdiction and civilian safety. The Eastern Pacific has long been one of the world's busiest corridors for narcotics transport, stretching from the coasts of Central and South America to maritime choke points near Hawaii and Mexico. Analysts say this region is the backbone of what's known as the Pacific Corridor, a route responsible for nearly 60% of cocaine shipments bound for the United States. The latest strike, according to Hegseth's office, was the 3rd such operation in less than 6 weeks, each authorized under an executive directive expanding the Pentagon's role in international drug interdiction. The footage shows the operation from a bird's-eye view, a drone camera locking onto the fast-moving vessel, followed by the brief flash of an aerial projectile. The sequence lasts just seconds, but its implications stretch far beyond the horizon. Defense observers note that under international maritime law, lethal force in such cases must be justified by imminent threat or ongoing criminal activity verified through intelligence. Hegseth's team insists that threshold was met. Inside Washington, the reaction is mixed. Supporters hail the move as a decisive show of force, reflecting what they call a new era of proactive maritime enforcement. Critics, however, see it differently, warning of escalating militarization in regions where civilian and commercial traffic remains dense. Some humanitarian groups argue that targeting suspected traffickers without judicial process could blur the line between defense and execution. In a recent Pentagon briefing, a senior official speaking on background emphasized that all operations were conducted in strict compliance with international law. He added that each target undergoes multi-agency verification before any kinetic action is authorized. Still, questions persist about collateral damage and accountability, especially in waters beyond national jurisdictions. Pete Hegseth, once known for his combative television presence and later his political rise within the Trump-Vance administration, has reshaped the Defense Department's public messaging style. His posts, direct, visual, and unapologetically assertive, often reach millions before traditional media can verify the details. The use of social media to announce lethal operations represents a profound shift in how military actions are communicated, part transparency, part psychological signaling. Maritime experts say these strikes reflect both technological evolution and strategic recalibration. Instead of deploying full-scale naval task forces, the U.S. has increasingly relied on drones, long-range surveillance, and satellite-linked weapon systems to intercept suspected vessels. The result is a more agile but less accountable form of warfare, one that can strike instantly yet operate in legal grey zones. In Latin America, the announcement has stirred unease. Governments from Ecuador to Panama, already struggling with cartel violence and coastal infiltration, fear that such unilateral U.S. actions could complicate regional cooperation. We recognize the U.S. efforts against drug trafficking, said one senior Central American diplomat anonymously, but we also expect consultation before strikes are carried out near our maritime boundaries. Human rights observers are also calling for transparency. A report by the International Maritime Monitoring Group urges the U.S. to release evidence confirming the vessel's involvement in narcotics trade. Without independent verification, the report notes, such strikes risk setting a precedent where suspicion equals guilt. At the same time, Washington's domestic audience remains divided. In coastal states like California and Florida, where narcotics landings have surged over the past year, public sentiment leans toward aggressive interdiction. Yet, within Congress, some lawmakers are pressing for hearings to examine the growing use of military force in drug enforcement, a mission traditionally reserved for the Coast Guard and DEA. For many Americans, however, this operation embodies the kind of bold, unflinching action that Pete Hegseth has long promised. His tenure as Secretary of War, a title revived under the current administration to emphasize strategic clarity, has been marked by high-profile operations and unapologetic rhetoric. He often frames these missions as part of a moral battle between law and chaos. When we strike, he said in a recent address, we strike for order, not for show. Beyond the politics, the image itself lingers, a faint silhouette of a burning vessel adrift on open waters. It serves as both symbol and warning. For traffickers, a demonstration of reach. For allies, a reminder of power. And for critics, a troubling glimpse into the expanding frontiers of American military engagement. As the smoke fades over the Pacific, the debate is far from over. Was it a justified act of enforcement or another step toward a more opaque, extrajudicial form of warfare? For now, all that remains visible is the aftermath, a dark trail on silver waters and a message broadcast to millions. The United States is watching, and it will strike when it decides the line has been crossed. Yet behind every official statement and grainy clip lies a deeper question, one that continues to shape the moral boundaries of modern warfare. How much proof does a strike need when the target is labelled suspected? And who, in the absence of courts or witnesses, decides what justice looks like on the open sea? In the coming days, the Pentagon is expected to release an operational summary, likely brief, carefully worded, and free of controversy. But for now, the story circulates globally. A 48-second video, 2 confirmed dead, 1 burning ship, and a growing unease about where the next missile might fall.